welcome to the Pony 411 podcast. And this week, the fandom has had a very big week, and we're here to talk about it. I'm Nemesis, your host, and joining me is Lord Funky Fist.
Hello, everyone.
And that's about it because, well, Super Bowl parties and stuff, because, yeah, it's Super Bowl Sunday, and we're still here recording.
Everyone's either busy or dead.
Yeah, busy or dead. I think Fusion's dead. Again.
Always assume he's dead. That's like our unwritten rule.
Yeah. So, yeah, like I said, lots to talk about this week. A big week, lots of news and some other things, and including the return of fan art, but that's not till later.
Much later.
So, but first, some quick hits.
No, I always feel like we need like some kind of like musical transition when we go to like the fan art. Not the fan art, though. I guess maybe that too, but like the quick hits. So
we'll make Art do it eventually for no pay, like usual.
You're gonna do it, and you're gonna like it.
Exactly. Anyway, the Brony Thank You Fund, a charity organization born from this fandom, is looking for volunteers. If you're interested, check the link in the description for more info. Mostly looking for regional manager type things, whatnot. Anyway, a fine gentleman at the Daily Oat, our very own 4-string in fact, wrote a helpful guide to all the pony conventions happening this year. If you're thinking of going to one, or maybe even more, head there for help, including location, time, cost, and more. So go check it out.
Yeah.
In Main 6, the developers of Fighting is Magic have released a character showcase of Fluttershy. They've also released a bonus video of creating her splash art, and Rainbow Crash 88, one of the game's composers, has released her stage music. And this, of course, means that the game is getting very close to completion if they're willing to show Fluttershy. So be on the lookout. I'm going to bet in a few months we'll see it.
Yeah, finally. I was very excited to see this go up.
So even though they didn't win that little Evo thing, they're still plugging along. Woo!
Yeah. And I really like the theme, by the way, so.
Yes, it is very good. Anyway, Las Pegasus Unicon has released a tentative panel schedule for their convention. If you're going, you should probably go take a look, and that's up at Derpy Hooves News. And speaking of Unicon, they've announced their final guest, and it's none other than Megan McCarthy, a writer on the show. And in more convention news, TrotCon has announced the attendance of Lee Talkar, one of the voice actors of the show, and Heather Breckel, a colorist on the comic.
I heard they're also originally going to get Unicron as well, but there were some issues with that, I think.
Something about size or something. Size issues, I don't know. Anyway, and in our final bit of convention news, Kelly Metzger, Merrick Hendricks, I'm probably just butchering these names, and Sam Vincent, the voices Spitfire, Gilda, and Flim, respectively, are going to be attending Fiesta Equestria.
All right. Well, that's the one here in Texas, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, because I remember, when I heard Fiesta Equestria, it reminded me of Fiesta, Texas.
Well, if you want to know for sure, you can always check out 4-String's guide.
All right. I think I'll do that right now. Okay, I'll wait till later.
Anyway, moving on to merchandise news, it looks like MLP is getting its own Monopoly variant, a.k.a. the game that destroys families if you're anything like my family. I'm just kidding.
If you haven't spoken in 5 years.
You can pre-order your own set for $39.99 at Big Bad Toy Store.
So it's not out yet.
Yeah, not out yet. It makes sense, though, since Hasbro owns Monopoly, so...
They have a monopoly on Monopoly.
Exactly. And Enterplay, the makers of the MLP trading cards, have announced the Hot Topic will be getting a Derpy tin case, which will also come with its own Derpy card. It is set for release on March 20th, so be on the lookout for that if you're a Derpy fan.
I just imagine like the card's like as big as the tin case, so you just open it and it just like pops out. And...
It's a lunchbox case. Oh my god, how big is that card? Anyway, and a lot more pony merchandise news has come out of the Nuremberg Toy Fair in Germany. For starters, I think it's either Nikki or NICI. I don't know which one that is.
Yeah,
correct.
Nikki, whatever.
Has revealed their official plushies, and they are actually show accurate, unlike the Funrise ones in the U.S.
It's like the Mohawks and like the
They'll only be released in September in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. They said they may release in other countries, quote, if demand is sufficient.
I'm pretty sure demand will be pretty sufficient.
Yeah, any which way, I'm going to figure out a way to import one of those.
I have to look at those because I haven't seen them yet.
Yeah, they're really actually so accurate. It's surprising. Anyway. The Toy Fair is also showing off many other pieces of merchandise, including pony plush keychains, lunchboxes, plush spikes, and more. So yeah, that's it for the quick hits.
So plushes of Spike or plushes of Spikes?
Plushes of Spike.
Ah, okay.
Anyway, that's it for the quick hits. But you might be wondering, wait, something else happened this week. Why aren't you talking about it? Well, the reason is it's going to be our little discussion point this episode. And, well, as most of you are well aware, but just in case you're not, yeah, spoilers for pretty much this entire episode, so you're going to kind of have to skip ahead a bit. But, yeah, as most of you are well aware, Alicorn Twilight is now official. On Tuesday morning, it was officially announced in the Entertainment Weekly article, Twilight Sparkle is becoming a princess.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, and once the news was picked up by the fandom, there was a bit of a meltdown. Let's just say
Battlefield Equestria.
So so in case any long-time listeners probably are well aware, I've been claiming it's going to happen for since at least October.
For years.
Yeah, and I don't want to toot my own horn too much, but I was more or less right. We're getting Alicorn Twilight in the finale.
Oh boy. And everyone's taking it pretty well. I have not seen anyone get mad at it at all.
Right. Have you been living under a rock, Funky?
Well, I do live in Texas.
Oh, right, yeah.
I actually, I'm roommates with a rattlesnake.
So, anyway, yeah, it's official. And the fandom has had a less than stellar reaction, to be honest. Some people are comparing it to what has been dubbed Derpy Gate, which, in case you didn't remember, was the last time the fandom had a major meltdown over something. Well, actually, not really the last time because they did meltdown before or since then, but
there was quite a bit of meltdowns.
Yeah, but yeah, this is the one. This is probably the one that matches Derpy Gate in sheer size and insanity. When I saw, breaking on Twitter and everything, I saw someone pleading with Megan McCarthy to confirm it was fake, even though it was an official article. And then, the Hub put it on their Facebook, and it's just thousands and thousands of comments, people posting the Spike No video, and people saying why, and I don't want this to happen, and people complaining about Hasbro, and it's crazy. And Funky, what do you take from this whole situation?
Bronies are crazy.
Yeah, probably a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
They're a little rabid sometimes.
So, and then the big question though now is, now that we know it's happening, the big question is whether it's going to be temporary or permanent change, and how will that affect the show? And we've discussed Alicorn Twilight several times now in this show, as you're probably well aware of. But now that we know it's official, I mean, the whole temporary versus permanent is there's people clinging on to the show description according to that is, it has to be temporary because she, messes up everyone's cutie marks and probably means her own, or and others no, it's permanent because of this and this and this and this and so on. I personally believe it's going to be permanent, and I have several reasons for that. One of which is the fact that the toys, which, I forgot to mention, toys as well, which confirms everything we've seen so far, those toys leaks we've seen so far, the toys will not release until the fall, which is that's a long time to wait for toys based on something that's only supposed to happen for one episode.
Supposedly for one episode.
Yeah, supposedly for one episode. 2, they released an extended synopsis, which goes like this. Let's see. In a special coronation episode, Magical Mystery Cure, Twilight Sparkle accidentally casts a spell that switches the cutie marks and destinies of all her friends, and the only way she can reverse that spell is by writing her own magic. Now here's the extra part. Little does she know that by achieving this great accomplishment, she will fulfill her destiny and emerge a princess.
Oh boy. I actually haven't I wasn't aware of that extra added part, but with that, it's then it's kind of hard to argue that it's not temporary, or to argue that
Yeah.
it is temporary now. Because,
Yeah.
well, with
And
that,
then
then that pretty much throws like that theory out. Because yeah, I remember someone was kind of saying, yeah, the everyone's cutie marks getting mixed up, so that probably means Twilight gets mixed up with like Celestia's, and that makes then that I guess changes her into like an Alicorn, and then afterwards she figures it out, but that pretty much changes it all.
yeah, and then there's the words Megan McCarthy from the Entertainment Weekly article, which is we didn't want to do was change who she is as a character because she's certainly someone that everyone's proud to know and love. And then I don't think becoming a princess really changes her. I think it's going to introduce some new challenges for her. The fact that they're talking about new challenges and whatnot, all this stuff kind of indicates to me it's going to be a permanent change. We're still going to see this in season 4 because that also everything kind of also implies another season, which means anyone who's worried this would mean the end of the show can kind of relax about that. You can worry about other things.
And one of those new challenges includes Twilight figuring out how to groom her wings.
Or actually using them to fly, in fact.
Yeah.
So that kind of brings me to another thing, which is what do you think this can actually, what sort of situation do you think this could create for us, like in season 4?
I don't think it would change too much. Because I know you brought it up that the show doesn't really have to deal with a lot of like problem solving and magic. Usually it's like slice of life. So it's kind of hard to say that it's going to change the show when in fact like this is just like a kind of just a slice of life kind of thing. I mean, if this was like Power Rangers or something where they were fighting like a monster of the week every week and she turns into an Alicorn, then you could probably argue that because it's like, oh, she's an Alicorn now, so she could just, I don't know, the next time some evil uh, thing that Celestia banished like 10,000 years ago comes back, she could just banish it back or get rid of it permanently, and that'll be that. So I doubt that'll happen a lot, or maybe not even at all.
Or maybe the challenge is big enough that she'll still have to use elements of harmony. Oh no. With her friends. Oh no.
Who all become Alicorns?
Yeah.
Wait.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I'm just imagining several different possible scenarios now that weren't possible before. Like, well, this is one thing I think a lot of people now want to see is like Dash teaching Twilight how to fly or something like that.
Yeah.
That would be a very fun episode. That's like one of those things like that the interaction between the two would definitely practically by itself. Well, not definitely practical. That doesn't make sense. Anyway.
Or since Twilight will become a princess, then there you could have one episode where I guess Celestia is teaching her like I guess the ins and outs of it, and maybe go even further. And maybe we'll see that in the final episode or like of the season, that maybe they'll go into like the whole like thing of that from the beginning of I guess the history of like coronations and things like that, and maybe we'll see if the same thing happened to Celestia and Luna and maybe even Cadence, or if this is like a special occasion where unicorns can be made into like I guess alicorns like them, but maybe there's other alicorns who are born that way, and things like that. So I guess like it'll raise some questions and hopefully it'll shine some light on some of them.
Yeah, because that is one of the big wrench right now. Is because like when we saw those flashbacks in A Candlelight Wedding, Cadence was an alicorn, but she was definitely way younger. So it's like, so was she born an alicorn? Did she happen to earn their thing earlier? Because that's another thing they've kind of been emphasizing, that princess like isn't in Equestria, princess isn't in a position you're just given. You earn it. You don't get it like by birthright or anything. You earn it by doing being good, and doing things for Equestria. So still, there's the whole can of worms. Like, so Twilight becomes one now. Did Cadence become one early in her life? Was she born? Is she actually a true Alicorn? How are they gonna tackle this? You don't know. Probably they might tackle it at some point. Would be cool is this might result in what something fans have been asking for is a Twilight or not Twilight or a Celestia and or Luna episode.
Yeah.
Again, or particularly Celestia episode. People have been wanting that for a while. And it's like, well, this is now opens a gateway. It's like Celestia and Twilight like hanging out doing something. Even though I still don't believe Twilight's going to move. Twilight's probably still going to be a main character. She's still going to be there almost every episode and all that stuff. Just
yeah. I just read the ad real quick. Like, yeah, like, 'cause I know people were saying that, but I'm like, uh, in the Kind of Lot wedding, we see Cadence when she's younger and she's babysitting Twilight, and you would think that all like if she was a princess that that she'd have more important things to do, but I'm pretty sure it's that maybe since she was still young that she didn't have like a lot of responsibilities yet, but but when she became of age, then maybe she became I guess full fledged. So just because Twilight becomes a princess doesn't automatically mean she's gonna have to move away from Ponyville and become the new regal head figure and have to do all this royal pony business stuff. She's probably gonna have a little bit more things to do, but for the most part, I'm pretty sure she's gonna stay at home where she is now and I guess study up more, but basically still allowed to live her life until when she turns 21 or 18 or whatever, and then that's
Yeah.
when I guess when she has to start doing a lot more things.
Who
Yeah,
knows?
I don't know.
It's kind of weird because we don't actually have any real ages on any of them. It's
Yeah,
just kind of implied they're young
yeah, because
adults.
because when Cadence was younger in that flashback when she was babysitting Twilight, that she looked about the same age as Twilight, as she, like present day during that. Like more or less,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I've seen how she looks in
Yeah.
there, but
She looked more teenagerish to me, but
yeah.
that was I don't know. Uh oh, one little thing. I'm not sure if they actually ever tackle this in the show, but just something like part of one of her princess duties, meeting some ambassador, and the ambassador is just being a jerk to her, not realizing that she's actually Princess Twilight or something. It's like that. I just think that'd be funny. Just like then it's like, so where's the princess? She's late. It's like she's behind you. Because he's thinking, it's like some griffin or something. He's thinking, the princess, as in, she's gonna be super tall and stuff, because that's what the princesses are. They're really tall, and this one's
The
not.
Ambassador's Gilda.
Oh, oh gosh, that'd be fun. Oh man.
Like, we didn't know
So
your friend was an ambassador, Rainbow Dash. Oh well, you never asked. Like,
no, that would be something that you never asked.
it's like, we didn't know you had a sister,
Darn it,
Twilight.
Dash.
Oh, my brother. Well, you never asked. Never came up.
This never came up. So this could also finally get us out of Ponyville more often. Because, she might have to travel. She might want to bring her friends with her. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe we actually see like
The Griffin
the
Kingdom?
Griffin Kingdom and where like maybe see more. Well, we saw a bit more dragons with that episode Dragon Quest, but
Yeah.
but again maybe open up more possibilities for things like that. Like maybe we'll see like maybe a bit more of like older familiar species, like maybe the diamond dogs or like the dragons, as I said, or those ponies from what was it, Saddle Arabia.
Yeah.
So, or maybe like they'll introduce like new species or like new races of ponies or non-ponies or whatever mythical creatures they can dig up, or minotaurs, since there was that one Iron Will and we didn't have any background on him. Like, where did he come from? Like, are there more like him,
Exactly.
or is he like some kind of rare, kind of like alicorns or whatnot? And you never know.
I I think that reminds me. Speaking of rare and alicorns, I've noticed a lot of people panicking. It's like, wow, well, you're making alicorns so unspecials now. It's like, there's still only 4 of them total of how many ponies in Equestria? Come on, there's only 4 now, or will be 4.
Oh god, it's like Dragon Ball
So
Z and
it's
Super
like,
Saiyans all over again.
oh no, not that! Don't please no. I've seen so many pictures comparing it to Dragon Ball Z or something. Oh man,
This is my second form right now.
this isn't even my final form. Oh man,
Alicorn
what
level
was
3.
it? Oh jeez, just and of course, people were panicking about the whole overpowered, and we've said this before. It's unlikely that she's going to be like on Celestia or Luna's level immediately. She's going to be probably closer to Cadence, and Cadence seemed honestly, Cadence seemed to be very powerful.
She had a lot of love, I guess.
That's about it.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I guess one concern, because they're really insisting that Twilight's personality is not going to change at all, and it's weird how many people seem to think it still will. But I think one thing people are kind of concerned about, and I really understand this one, is that she's going to just completely overshadow everyone else. It's like, well, she's a princess. This means people are going to be fawning over her and stuff like that. It's like, I really hope that isn't the case. I really hope she's able to still do silly things like wind up, like what, like It's About Time, where she just wound up worrying herself for a week and trying to go back in time to fix everything.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they'll have like things like that. Maybe maybe it'll be kind of like an episode where like she has to meet a very important, I guess like ambassador or something, and maybe she gets really worried about making a good first impression, and well, you can probably guess where that could probably go. Like there are a couple of ways that could be
Yep.
taken, and
Easy.
yeah.
Yeah, I'd imagine most of her friends would be just treat her like normally. Although I would be funny just for like what initially like Rarity since at first tries saying stuff like Your Highness, and Twilight's like, knock that off, stop that.
Yeah, like maybe at first they'll be a little bit awkward, like, oh well, how do we act around you now? But maybe, yeah, maybe it's another thing that they'll learn, like, oh well, we don't have to act special around you because you're still you and everything, and then look at the camera and like hint, it's like
Hint, hint.
we shouldn't be getting worried over something as simple as like basically a cosmetic change. Then like just Pinkie Pie just
Right?
slowly just looks at the screen and then just episode ends.
Another worry I had. This is probably my only real worry about is how they're going to handle it, because they only have 22 minutes. This is not a multi-parter. This is a
Yeah.
singular episode, and how they're going to fit the whole everything with the cutie mark mix-up and the coronation all into a single episode. Unless they've been lying to us and it's actually a double-length episode. It's like, haha, we lied to you. But I don't think so. It's just I'm excited. I've actually been wanting this. I've been wanting this for a long time. I've been expecting it for several months, and I believe the fandom is a lot of the fandom is right now overreacting. Although it's kind of died down by the time we started recording this. It's died down a bit, but there's still this lingering undercurrent of just unease, I should say. And
Yeah, definitely not as big as like the day it came out.
yeah, that was just it was just endless. It was like at first I'll be honest, at first I was kind of enjoying the freak out, but then as time went on, I'm like, okay, this is just starting to get old.
Yeah.
You guys need to stop now.
Yeah, and especially it was getting really upsetting because they were even bothering other people like Lauren Faust.
Yeah, they start bothering Lauren Faust. It's like, wow, guys, she's nothing to do with this anymore. Whatever she had planned is irrelevant.
Yeah, which did kind of make me wonder, like, what did she have planned? But no,
Yeah, but she won't tell us, which is probably for the best.
it'd be nice, but yeah, I'm not gonna lose sleep over it.
Yeah. Because, she knows it's like if she tells us, that means everyone's going to be like, oh, that would have been so much better.
Yeah, I think even can't believe I forget Tara Strong. Yeah, I know. I think even people were I guess pestering her as well about it.
Yeah, especially since apparently when she took over the Hub Twitter for like an afternoon, she said, someone straight up asked, is Alicorn Twilight going to happen? She says, no, silly, and I never said that either. And it's like, oh my God. And now people are freaking out because she lied. She just point blank lied. It's like, of course she did. She was not allowed to say yes. And she's eyes. She loves to troll us. What were you expecting?
You'd think you'd know by now.
I think one other thing that some people are angry about is the fact, oh, this is just a sign that Hasbro's just taking control. And it's like, guys, this has always been a show to sell toys. That has never not been the case. It's always been a toy commercial. You got to understand this. It's been that way from the beginning. It's just, it's been able to rise above that very consistently. Like a Candlelight Wedding. That was more or less, hey, look, buy the Princess Cadence, buy the Shining Armor, buy the wedding playset. That was what that was, but it still wound up being one of the best episodes of the series.
Exactly.
Calm down, watch the episode, and then if you don't like it, then you could go whine about it. But as it stands, I think M.A. Larson, which I've looked at what his writing credits, and so far, judging by what he's written, I think he can pull this off.
And which ones has he done again? I forget.
Yeah, M.A. Larson, he wrote Swarm of the Century, Sonic Rainboom, Cutie Mark Chronicles, The Return of Harmony, Luna Eclipsed, Secret of My XS, Super Speedy Cider Squeezy 6000, It's About Time, Ponyville Confidential, and Magic Duel, and now, of course, Magical Mystery Cure. Those are all his, and those were all considered very good episodes for the most
Oh
part.
yeah, I enjoyed all of
So
those.
I think he can pull this off. So yeah, I think he can take this. Yeah, Hasbro probably mandated it. Although one of McCarthy's tweets is interesting because talks about how she's wondering how people are thinking of her idea or something. Let me look it up. And yeah, she said, yeah, one of her tweets is questioning my decision to have Twilight become a you-know-what in finale because she is able to use magic to create Gak as a joke. But it's like, wait, she decided to make it? It's like, that makes you wonder. It's one of those things. Of course, she didn't write it, but it makes you wonder. It kind of brings an interesting scenario. What if it wasn't Hasbro's mandate? What if they actually wanted to do it themselves and Hasbro went along with it because they knew they could sell a bunch more toys?
That's probably what they say every time. Like they come up to them like, "Hey, can we put this in the show? Can we make toys about it? Yeah, okay, sure, go ahead, put it in."
That would be interesting if it turns out it was the writers that came up with the idea and it wasn't Hasbro. But of course, Cynic, Jaded, us, we're all gonna think, yeah, it was Hasbro. It probably was Hasbro. Still, it'd be interesting if it was, in fact, the writers that came up with it and everyone's blaming Hasbro just because they're the easy target.
Because the big evil corporation.
Exactly, and big evil corporation who's gonna get more of my money because yes, I am going to buy some of these. Deal with it, people. So all you people are trying to talk about boycotting and not buying these. Well, it's not going to work because I'm still going to buy these.
Yeah,
I've been waiting for this.
I remember seeing a thing that that was called like Operation Clip Wings or something, and it was basically like like boycotting the last episode and not watching it. Like, okay,
yeah, don't watch the LS episode. Don't buy the merchandise for like the month of February, all that stuff, and I don't think that's going to work out. Anyway, yeah, speaking of the merchandise, let's see. They have 4 toys and 1 plushie so far announced. There might be more later. We might get a better plushie. I don't know. Because, they got this big $50 Twilight Alicorn. It's, she's able to move. She talks. She can brush her hair, all that stuff. And, just it's kind of like the Celestia. She kind of says things that like, I'm a princess now.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know which one you mean now.
Yeah, there's the play set which got leaked out a week before, so the one that a lot of people were arguing whether it was Twilight or Cadence or Skyla, and turns out, yeah, it's Twilight. That's her play set thing, and it's going to cost $25.
You can see her cutie mark right in the back of that, so.
Mm-hmm. But no, it's got to be Cadence. Wait, no, it's not, because it's official. There's also... They're also going to have the weird, like, chariot set thing that's where, like, Spike's the chauffeur, and for some reason Rarity comes with it because...
I haven't seen it, but I heard, like, Four String mentioned it, and I was like, what? Like,
yeah, it's this car, and it's like a car and wagon, and it's got Spike, like, with a bow tie and stuff, and it's also got Rarity for no other reason. Of course, Four String is like, they become married and run...
and they're running, like, a husband-wife chauffeur business.
Exactly. Yeah, and that is going to be $23. And finally, with the toys, there's also going to have another set. It's like these sets. There's also going to be Cadence one as well. It's going to be like Twilight and Rainbow Dash in one set, and Cadence and Applejack in the other. And those are going to be $13 a piece.
Cadence and Applejack? Oh, that's a really weird combination.
Yeah. And Twilight and Rainbow Dash in the other. I don't know.
Oh, because there was that one scene where Cadence tried some of those apple fritters or whatever that Applejack made, so it makes sense now.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
That's why.
And finally, there's also the plushie, the Funrise version, which, that's basically the stringy hair / mop hair, or whatever.
Yeah, the mop hair. There we go. That's what
which we remember way back the first picture we saw, which I freaked out about back in like episode 4, I think, of our podcast. It's Twilight. It's just the Twilight plushie, except now there's a set of wings on her, and these are all set to release this fall.
It'll be funny if like they're kind of like those Hulk hands, like those Wreck-It Ralph hands. They have like Twilight wings to sell to the girls.
Well, I do know that like this isn't official, but at Everfree there's someone selling like horns and ears and wings and stuff to wear.
Yeah, the purple ones.
And of course. Yeah, so now it's like, so they're going to sell a full Alicorn set for, like, Twilight? Because I think that Alicorn set's for, like, Celestia and Luna, so that'd be interesting.
And it lights up, and then you get, like, repulsor blast things to put on your hands. Magic missile!
Oh, dear. So I guess that's about it. There's not much else to say, except just wait and see. That's coming out on the 16th.
And deal with it, basically.
Yeah, deal with it. Just like my GIF that, was on EQD without credit, Just saying.
Just saying.
Yeah, so if you've seen that deal with it GIF that's flying around with Twilight with the sunglasses and the wings both come down on Twilight and says deal with it, that was me. You're welcome, by the way.
I love that GIF.
So, I guess we can move on. Oh, wait, before I mention, last week, 4String said we were going to have an interview. We are, but it's not going to be in this recording. We're going to release it as a separate one. It's about an hour and a half long or so, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so it's a long interview, so we're going to release it as its own special, episode, 25.5 or whatever this. So
25 and a half.
Be on the lookout for that a little bit later this week.
All right.
Moving on, though, we do have fan content, including return, like I said, a fan art.
Oh, my God.
So, Funky, take it away.
Oh, my God.
Please take it away. It hurts my eyes.
I did nothing to your eyes. So, yeah, art's gone, and now we have fan art. Is coincidence?
Yes.
Yeah, well, if you haven't been around for a while, this kind of stopped for a while for a lot of reasons, but now it's back, for now at least, and let's see we'll see if it's going to be something that's going to be a weekly thing again. And for those of you, I guess, who don't know, this is where we basically go and talk about fan art that I personally found through all the wonderful resources of the internet, and mostly DeviantArt, but
terrible.
There's some ones that might have been featured on EQD and Tumblr. I've seen that's where I come across some of them as well. So yeah, I like to showcase some of the ones that I really like and that don't have as much attention as the really big ones, or some of them are pretty popular, but basically it all just boils down to, I guess, personal taste. But first, I guess we'll start off with Battle Ponies Without Background by C. Maggot. And this is basically a larger file of another picture that this artist did, which is labeled Battle Ponies. And basically what it is, it's all the main six, even though I don't like using that term, but the main six characters dressed up in battle gear with medieval armor. And I really particularly enjoy this piece because all the armor looks really well detailed, and especially it really fits the personalities of the ponies that are wearing it, and they are really well detailed. They're really well colored, and it matches them perfectly. And in this one, they're tidied up a little bit, so there's a little bit more, a few additions here and there to cleaned up and edited, and they still look as good as the one with the background, and the one with the background looks just as good, and might even make a pretty decent wallpaper as well. But yeah, this one's really good because I always enjoy seeing My Little Pony, or shows like this, kid-friendly shows, kind of giving this really kind of badass, cool touch to it, and this is one of them. And so yeah, this is definitely one of my personal new favorites. And the next one is The New Princess by Sajira, or I'm not sure. And this kind of goes into the theme of this week's podcast of Princess Twilight, because this one and some of the other ones also in this one features Alicorn Twilight. And this one, it's a very simple one. Usually everyone that's drawn an Alicorn Twilight kind of wants to depict it as royal and regal or whatever, but this one is a very simple one with Twilight, I guess, mentioning or doing what I mentioned earlier, and she's kind of grooming her left wing, and so she's sitting down and she has her element tiara on, and I really enjoy it just because I like the background that goes with it and the little aura that she kind of has, and I guess just basically how it looks, just because it's not a serious picture. It's just just her cleaning one of her wings, and it just I just like how the slight how slightly adorable it is, and just how really well put together it is. And I guess it's her being very ladylike or whatever, being very girl like, especially with her sitting stance and everything. So it's definitely, I guess, a little different one from the Alicorn pictures that I've seen. And the next one is "And Into Her Own Reflection" by Yuji Ate Sushi, and it's this is actually based on an older, not older episode. It's an episode from this season. The Too Many Pinkie Pies. Yeah, the
Yes.
with Pinkie Pie and like the mirror pool and whatever. And this one features a very stylized Pinkie Pie looking over the mirror pool. And is that what it was called? Or
Yeah, the mirror pool.
I thought it was like Mirror Lake or Mirror Pond. I can't remember. But yeah, the it's her looking overlooking the mirror pool and seeing into her reflection, and I really like the style of it because she has this really long, like lanky legs and like, big eyes, and like her mane and tail are very, uh, again, very stylized and really big, and the background is really like that abstract, and the whole thing kind of reminds me of like something like a Tim Burton kind of movie or stop motion thing, and again, like it's really well put together. I really like the composition of it, and it's always nice to see ponies drawn in a very different way. So I really like it. Really enjoyed this one as well. And the one that I was supposed to do before this one was uh, Her Turn by Craft Singles, and again another Princess Twilight picture,
Dun,
and
dun.
it's more of her doing like a kind of dynamic pose. And what I really enjoy about this one is it's how how it looks, because it looks like a watercolor painting even though it is a digital painting. And from what I've seen from this artist's gallery, it's uh, she or they're very familiar with watercolors, like doing it traditionally. So it's very interesting to see them being able to pull it off digitally as well. So this one's really good. I like this one. I really enjoy when I see things done like either traditionally or look. I have that traditional look, and it's Princess Twilight. So there's that.
Yay.
And the last one is, oh well, guess what? It's another Twilight picture, and
Oh.
it's not Princess Twilight because this was done, I guess, before it was
Mm-hmm.
uh it was official, and it's No Pony by Fetlocks, and it's a very Game of Thrones esque kind of picture of Twilight Sparkle sitting in what appears to be Princess Celestia's throne. Or no, 'cause I see now that I see some books under it, so I'm not sure if it's her throne, or whatever. But she's sitting down, like, very menacing looking, with Princess Celestia's crown, her necklace, and her, I'm not sure what those are called. The ones what she wears on her hooves, her shoes,
Yeah.
horseshoes.
Yeah. People call them shoes or whatnot usually.
Yeah, but basically she's wearing Princess Celestia's uh
Regalia.
yeah, her outfit basically. I don't know. I couldn't think of her wardrobe, and I was really enjoyed it again because like it's a really kind of like cool looking uh like badass kind of tough picture. And just the fact that she's dressed up like she's wearing Celestia's get up, and in the back you can see a banner with Twilight's cutie mark on it, and with the like, with her being in color and everything else in black and white, and the stern face that she has, it kind of makes you wonder if, like, what exactly happened, like, so it lets you imagine, like, the backstory behind the picture and everything. So it's always good when something like that does it, when something makes you think and kind of speculate what's going on within the context of this picture, especially if they don't say anything, like if it's just like just left vague. But
Okay.
that just about does all of them.
Woo! Yeah, I've had the last one you talked about, I actually have had on my computer for a while because I remember seeing, oh, that's pretty cool. And yeah, I remember what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're saying with the whole what's going on, why is she that, this was something happened, disaster, did she take over somehow, what, who knows?
Hostile takeover.
Exactly. And I also like that first Alicorn Twilight one you talked about. I remember seeing that one and going, oh wow, that's really cool. Yeah. So really good choices. I have to say they're all really good, but those two in particular are the ones I enjoyed.
All right.
So, yeah. And I also have some fan content, particularly fan fiction, because that's what I do. And it's titled Hard Reset by Ekin. I think that's how it's pronounced. And basically, at its core, imagine Groundhog Day with Twilight instead of,
Bill Murray. And groundhogs.
And groundhogs. And, well, basically, Twilight decides she's, trying to cast a spell involving manipulating time and space, and it seems she thinks it backfires, and, well, she's disappointed, and then changelings attack, and things go to crap real quick, and then she dies, and all of a sudden she wakes up, and she hears Spike say, well, that didn't work, and she's right back to the moment her spell supposedly failed, and it confuses her, and then eventually she realizes, oh, she did succeed in her spell, it just wasn't what she was expecting at all. So now she's looping through the same day over and over and over again. Classic premise, but so, now she's got to figure out how to save Cannot from the changelings and whatnot. And she just, it starts off with typical Twilight, trying to, constantly going through the plans and iterations of the plans, just fixing, improving, and perfecting, but eventually just all fails and she just gives up for wit and decides to take a few loops off. And eventually you start seeing things like, she one point decides to go on a looting spree, and one point she decides to see how many changelings she can kill before it's all over. And at one point, and so just to give you an idea, this have a tiny bit of mild shipping element, but not really a huge deal. At one point, she does come out to her parents just to see what happens. Finds out that, oops, they already know.
Oh. Well, okay.
It's not very long, all things considered. It's only a few chapters, and it's got an alternate ending because it's already been finished. What surprised me, but what surprised me is already finished. It's like popped up on, oh, this is interesting. We'll save this for later, and then a couple days, like, oh, it's finished. Okay, whatever. I'll still feature it, but I'd say it's worth reading. It's kind of has a bit of a dark comedy to it. I'll be honest too. I don't want to spoil it, but the alternate ending kind of feels a little tacked on. It doesn't really feel natural at all, but. That's, I guess, up to you to decide, but I overall definitely enjoyed the story. I would highly, highly recommend it to everyone to read it, even if you are leery of shipping, because it isn't really, like I said, the shipping thing is really minor.
I'll definitely have to check it out.
Indeed.
And plus, I guess that's what happens when you try to mess with time and space. Usually that never goes right.
Oh, yeah. Almost never goes right.
Almost never. Has it ever gone right? At least on the first try, at least.
Yeah, well, they say it goes right when you have a stable time loop or something. Anyway, so that's it with fan content, because no 4-string, no music, alas.
Oh, well.
So, like I said earlier, though, we had that interview. You can look out for that as a special episode on its own pretty soon. You can also, of course, you can contact us, about this Alicorn controversy stuff. You can tell us your opinion. You can later talk to us about their opinion on the interview with the Journey of the Spark creator from Artfan.
All right.
Anyway, to contact us, there are multiple ways. Let's see. We got Twitter. We're at Pony401. You can contact us you can comment on Facebook.com/Pony401. You can email us, Pony411podcast@gmail.com. You can also contact us on our personal Twitter accounts. I'm at Nemesis Prime 1. He is at Lord Funky Fist.
And everyone else will just be there in the description.
And of course, if you like this episode and want to hear more, you can find us on iTunes. Just search for Pony401. Hey, we got album artwork working properly now. Woohoo! We're also on course. You can get the direct download from Libsyn, pony411.libsyn.com. That's Libsyn. You can also find us on YouTube, youtube.com/pony411. We upload every episode there every week, like clockwork.
Or sometimes like clockwork.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little late, but don't tell anyone. And that is it for this week's episode.
We planned for it to be late, so it is clockwork. Yeah. Whatever. Screw you guys.
Yeah. We're going home.
Excuse me, sir. The show's
over.
This
is the end of the episode 25. Next time, we're going to be talking about the episode Games Ponies Play. Don't miss out.
Oh no, new episode. What do?
Yeah. So don't forget, everyone, please pony responsibly. Bye.